What's up, everybody? Brian Engelman here. We are going on, let's see, we're recording on my Mac over here because this is going to be put on YouTube. We are going live on Facebook over here, and that is live, so you guys can type some comments, questions. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Yes, Jason. We're doing a meetup at the Browns home opener, the Muni lot, against Pittsburgh. So meet us out there. The Unhappy Hour crew is going to be there. Fun times, good stuff coming. But we're also going to be putting this on VidMe, vid.me, vid.me. We have a brand new channel over there because YouTube is demonetizing all of the stuff that we're doing. So screw YouTube. We'll call them ScrewTube. And we're going to go a different route with that. They're doing it to a lot of people. Free speech is fine as long as it's your speech, and that's garbage. So we'll continue the YouTube channel because we have, I don't know, 1.4 million views and I don't know how many thousands of subscribers, 6,100, 6,200 subscribers. You know, we have a presence over there. Over 6.5 years, we put content out. But hey, if YouTube is becoming hostile, I don't need to remain a part of that. That's an abusive relationship. I don't need to continue. So anyway, this is for YouTube. This is for Facebook. That over there is for VidMe. Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Follow us. And on Twitter at American_media_. Search for our group. It's our sports group called The Unhappy Hour. Search for The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. And as long as we can confirm you're either an Indians, Browns, Cavs, or Buckeye fan, we will let you into the group and we can have some fun with that. Also, Facebook.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. So, the purpose of today's show is to talk to you about the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have named quarterback DeShone Kizer from Notre Dame, second-round draft pick last year, as the starter. Not for the season yet, but that's what he did. He's looked the best out of the three quarterbacks. The Browns are holding Brock Osweiler out of practice. He's not going to play in Game 3. They're looking to trade him. He has a pretty high salary, $16 million in 2017. Which is going to kind of make it a little tricky because nobody wants to take on that kind of salary for someone like Brock Osweiler. But, hey, he's a backup quarterback. He's got about a 500 record. He's kind of like as many interceptions as touchdowns. He's serviceable-ish, but is he really? I mean, he's someone that's not going to get the time of day for the Cleveland Browns, so what is that telling you? If you can't play for the quarterback position for the Cleveland Browns, what do you really have going on there? So, anyway, let's see. Third preseason game. Third preseason game is probably one of the most significant components of this right now because the third preseason game is where all of the starters, this is what they call the dress rehearsal. This is the main, most important game that they have. In the preseason. Game 1, you're really figuring out a lot of stuff, checking your roster, making cuts, and everything's up in the air, kind of. Week 2, you start narrowing down what you got going on your team, and by week 3, this is what they call the dress rehearsal. It's like, all right, we're going to go strong for a full half with our starters, as many as we can afford to, and we're going to rock this. We're going to have our debut, if you will. And then by week 4, it's pretty much no starters play, and it's all those players on the fringe, the second stringers, the third stringers, that are going to battle it out, and it's unwatchable and terrible for the most part. So the fact that DeShone Kizer has worked his way up from third string to second string to now first string, that's very significant. I watched Brock Osweiler play. Not very impressed. I don't know how a guy that's 6'8" is getting balls knocked down at the line. I know it happens to everybody. It can happen to anyone, I'm sure, but most players are not 6'8". The guy's enormous. I don't know. I don't see it. Basically, the Browns purchased him for his $16 million contract in exchange for a second-round draft pick. I think a seventh. We gave him a seventh, and we got Osweiler and the second. So it was really the Cleveland Browns' attempt to purchase a better team, which is fine. You either do it through free agency or through the draft, and since we're young and rebuilding, that's how they chose to do it. Brock Osweiler was a big part of that, but he's not even going to play in this game. The Browns want him to stay healthy. They're going to try to trade him and unload him, and we'll just get the second-round pick out of it. Who knows? Maybe we'll eat a couple $1 million of that salary, and instead of $16 million, maybe we only pay $2 million, $5 million or something, and so, someone else takes on 10, and we got a second-round pick out of it. So that's what's going on there. Browns coach Hugh Jackson named him as the starter. former Notre Dame quarterback. He said he's certainly positioning himself well to earn the starting job heading into the regular season. Osweiler saying he's going to stay away from. They asked him about would he ask for a trade. He said, I'm just going to stay along with that. Osweiler says, I told you guys all along, I'm always just going to focus on the things that I control right now. That's being a great teammate. That's continuing to prepare, be a pro, stay in the playbook, and continue to strive to be a better player every day. Anyway, our general manager and head coach, they decide who plays and how much they play. As players, we can only make the most of the opportunity. So that's kind of what's going on here. Now, I got to tell you, I was fortunate enough to watch most of the Giants game and most of the snaps with DeShone Kizer. I mean, he looked good. I don't like his running. I need him to stop that. I don't like him taking big hits because we want him to stay healthy. That's a stupid rookie thing. You might be able to pull that crap in college, but you're not. You're going to get your bell rung in the pros. So I mean, that's something they just have to. He's got to. He strikes me as a smart kid. The coaching staff has really got to keep playing him the pictures of him getting hit and do a montage or something of quarterbacks getting injured and ruining their careers from running and taking unnecessary hits. If he can avoid that, I don't care if he doesn't score a touchdown. I don't care. He's got to learn. Because let's face it, if the Browns, and it's kind of similar to, just to recap something unrelated, the Cleveland Cavaliers traded Kyrie Irving to the Boston Celtics yesterday for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, some 4 and 7 footer that likes to dunk, don't know much about him, and then the unprotected pick from the New Jersey Nets. So the Celtics acquired this pick from the Nets. It's unprotected. Last year, the Nets had the number 1 pick. So they signed Timofey Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell and a couple players. So are they going to be the worst team in the NBA next year? I don't know, but they were last year. So you can only extrapolate what you can based on what you have to deal with. So you look at the situation with the Cavs and with the Nets, and you say, all right, it looks good on paper. And the Cleveland Browns, we were the worst team last year, and we got the first pick. There's no lottery in the NFL, but we got the best pick because we were the worst team. Now, with all the upgrades and additions that we've made, the changes, the coaching staff having an extra year to prepare, and continuity beginning to develop, and then Greg Williams coming in, a new defensive scheme that seems to work, are we going to be the worst team in the NFL next year? I have no idea. Nobody has any idea. I expect us to be a playoff team every year. I'm the eternal optimist. Not on many things, but with the Browns I am. I don't know why. Maybe it's because when I was in 8th grade, my football team couldn't win a game. And then when it came time for senior year of high school, we went undefeated and went into the second round of the playoffs and lost to the eventual state champion from the next year. We lost to Canton McKinley, who won the state championship the next year with a lot of those undergraduate sophomores and juniors who came back one more year, and they were dominant. So I know that you can go from a 1-win team, which we were in 8th grade, on the last play in the rain against Medina or something, to an undefeated team. Maybe it takes a few years to get there, but I just always have the hope that we can do it. I mean, but then again, we had 2 back-to-back undefeated seasons, junior year, senior year. We were good for pretty much all of high school. So I always expect the Browns to do well. So my point is, if the Browns, like the New Jersey Nets, if the Brooklyn Nets, if it extrapolates how it was last year, we're going to get the top pick. If not, maybe it's pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5. It's still going to be right at the top, maybe. Unless you have a total breakout, worst to first kind of meteoric rise. And honestly, in the AFC North, with Roethlisberger getting old and the Ravens kind of being in disarray and the Bengals, who knows what they're up to, I don't see that as an improbability, or an impossibility, rather. As an impossibility. I'm not going to put money on it necessarily, but my point is this. That was a long way to circle around to get back to this point. If we don't know who DeShone Kizer is and what he's capable of, who do we pick next year at the top of the draft? I mean, you got Sam Darnold. You have multiple quarterbacks that are potential franchise quarterbacks at the top of next year's draft. You will every year. Some people will reach like Mitch Trubisky. I feel like that was a pretty big reach. But the Sam Darnold character, I mean, he seems to have the size, the poise, we'll see how the season plays out. But the Browns need to know who they have at quarterback. Who is this kid? Why would we waste a season on Brock Osweiler? He's not the answer. He's not going to be the answer. Cody Kessler? Come on, man. You see him play? I watched Game 1, and I knew that DeShone Kizer had it to be the starter. He was projected as the #1 quarterback before last year started. There were coaching problems, there were injuries, there was continuity issues, and he didn't have a good year. And even a bad year was a pretty decent year. Not great, but it was decent with Notre Dame. But he was, in many circles, projected to be the #1 quarterback taken in the draft last year. He slipped to the second round because he didn't have a good year. Okay, so that's a good thing for the Cleveland Browns. If the quarterback whisperer named Hugh Jackson, if he's able to groom him into something good, that's great. Then we can use that top pick on a different player, on a different difference maker that we'll need. I mean, we need a lot of difference makers on the Cleveland Browns. When you're a one-win team, you need a lot. The defense is looking fantastic, by the way, and as a former defensive end, I love watching Myles Garrett. Man, I'm so excited for this. But you got to play him. This is a no-brainer. You name him the starter for week 3. You know what? Just call him the starter for the season. You just got to do it. The guy, in the first preseason game, I watched him make all the throws. I'm not saying he had a perfect game. I'm saying he's capable of making all of the throws. He had 2 50-plus, 50-yard touchdowns thrown in the first game. I know one of them was technically down at the 1-yard line and they punched it in on the next play or whatever, or in the next series. But he can make the throws. And then trailing on the last drive, throwing it on 4th down into the end zone for a touchdown. You can't coach that stuff. You can't teach that stuff. That's balls of steel. That's really important stuff that you have to take into account. Do they have the it factor? They call it the it factor. And DeShone Kizer has it. How much of it? How good is it? How long-lasting will it be? I don't know. But what we do know is if we don't get the quarterback situation figured out this year, we're going to draft him next year. We took Kessler. Where was Kessler taken? In the 3rd round? Type in. I don't have it in front of me. Was it the 3rd round we took Cody Kessler in last year, or was it the 2nd? I think it's the 3rd. But now we took DeShone Kizer in the 2nd. And if that doesn't work, maybe it's time to draft a first-round quarterback. You can't fault a coaching staff or a general manager, the front office for failing to perform if you don't have the right players on the field. So, look, I fully support this move. I'm very happy about what's going on with the Browns. Starting on Saturday in Tampa Bay, Kizer says it's awesome. Now it's about whatever I can do to go out there and compete and have the success I've had in the last couple games. Osweiler's just not getting a lot done. Kizer went 19 for 31 with 258 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 sacks in 2 games. The second-round pick from Notre Dame guided 9 drives and scored 23 points, all the points coming against backup defenders. Well, of course it came against backup defenders because he hasn't been the starter. Well, I guess he played a little bit in the second quarter, he took first-team reps last week. But, so what? Oh, well, it's against backups. Well, all those backups are better than the college players. And he's still doing it there, so what? He says, awesome as it is, just means I have to try to work harder. The Browns are saying we're very excited about seeing DeShone in the role of starter for this week as he's certainly positioned, blah, blah, blah. I gave you that quote earlier. Okay, so Tank Carter, with his knee, his ACL, has gotten injured. Matt McCant's ankle on injured reserve. Waived defensive back Justin Curry. Yeah, Carter was looking pretty good, playing for a starting position. Started both preseason games and tore his ACL in the first quarter, which sucked. 3rd round, 93 overall. Thank you, Jason. I was right. It was 3rd round. I appreciate that. Let's go through the comments. If you have some comments here on Facebook Live. By the way, if you're not in our group, shame on you. Shame on you. Go on Facebook. Do a search for The New American Media. Do a search, actually, specifically for The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Click the thing. We'll answer a question. Are you an Indians, Cavs, Browns, or Buckeye fan? And if we can confirm that, we'll let you in. We got like 1,100 members. It's awesome. It's where all the Cleveland breaking sports news happens. The funniest memes, the most interesting conversation and banter. It's where we all go to. As soon as something happens, we want to go in the Unhappy Hour and talk about it. That's why I created it, and that's why it's kicking ass. So if you're not a part of it, you need to be a part of it. So I'm going to go through, take a look if you had some comments. If you do, type them in there. Jason Mellon, what up, Jason? Saying best sports group of all time. I surely hope it is turning into that. Hello, Adam. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so Jason said third round, 93 overall. Hello, Bobby. Hello, James. Hello, Shannon. Jesse, I like him running, but he needs to slide. Yes, I did cover that. I agree completely. I don't want 10 yards. I want a healthy quarterback. I don't care if this guy throws every pass into the ground at people's ankles, as long as he's not getting sacked and getting his clock cleaned. But Coach Jackson is talking about, he's put the work in to learn the playbook. He's really been working hard, and he understands what he's doing. Get him out there. He's a professional. Oh, he's a young kid. He's right out of college. So what? So is Myles Garrett, but he's playing. Yeah, but quarterback is more complex of a position. So he's been playing quarterback his whole life. Figure it out. We're either drafting Sam Darnold or we're rolling with Kizer. Figure it out. And send me some more Kizer Soze memes. I need more Kizer Soze memes. Put them in the unhappy hour group. All right, let's see. Like him running, but he needs a slide. Okay, Brian Marlin. What's up, Brian? Tampa Bay is going to have an explosive offense this year. Yeah, I got Jameis Winston. I'm in a fantasy. Oh, yes. Last thing, the unhappy hour, we have a mega fantasy football league. It's 2 10-man leagues, and then the winner of each conference plays for the championship. Man, I had a bad year last year. Didn't work out so well for me. But I did win it the year before, which is pretty cool. Or 2 years, yeah, the year before. So this is year 3. If you want in, join the Facebook group and say, hey, how do I get in on that fantasy football action? And we'll guide you to it. We got to hurry up and lock it in. We have a few spots left, and then we're going to be drafting this, what is it, Sunday? I think this Saturday or Sunday. I think it's this weekend, just this weekend. Anyway, so Brian, yeah, Tampa's going to have an explosive offense. The point of that is saying, in my Dynasty League, we have the Unhappy Hour Dynasty League. You can also raise your hand and say, I'd like to be a backup if one of the owners wants to sell out of their fantasy league. It's $50 a year. We already have one person on backup, but yeah, I have Jameis Winston in that league. I have Doug Martin, so I'm heavily invested in Tampa Bay and their potentially explosive offense. Let's see if they serve crab legs afterward for Jameis. Anyway, but yeah, they're going to have an explosive offense. Let's see in Game 3 what the Browns defense can do. I'm really liking some of the moves that some of the blitzes. I've seen some really interesting, clever blitzes, and that's kind of what Greg Williams is known for. I've grown so tired of the past 19 years of watching vanilla, milquetoast, run-of-the-mill defenses just stand there and dance and not even get through. I saw something pretty sweet. How do I show you this? Okay, so this is the left end, left tackle, right end. If this is making sense, I got to angle it the right way. I watched this particular play, and I'd have to watch it a second time to make sure I got the numbers right. I don't think it was Myles Garrett. But we had our guy here, maybe it was Schobert. When the ball was snapped, he didn't come forward. He took a step back, cut around in behind the tackle, and right up the middle and smashed Eli Manning. You got to get creative. You got Julius Peppers. That guy, you can play him all over the field. Do it. Use it. Utilize it. Have fun with it. I'm really excited to see the defense. Really excited to see it. So the Tampa Bay offense versus the Cleveland defense is going to be something I'm going to be very interested in taking a look into. Jason is saying there's still trade talks about Brock. Yes. Let's get something for him. He's serviceable. He's not going to be dividing the city and the franchise like Colin Kaepernick is. Not getting into that here. I'm so sick of that damn story, and I'm really disappointed that the Browns are starting to play those games too. Not going to go there on this episode, though. So, yeah, let's see if we trade Brock away. I mean, if that's the case, who do we have as our backup? Ooh, maybe we trade Brock and bring in Colin Kaepernick. Wouldn't that be fun? No, not fun. But we'll see. I think we're going to move Brock. We've been talking about moving Brock for a long time. That's kind of been the general consensus. So it will not surprise me, Jason, if we do move Brock. Let's see. Any other questions? Put them in the Facebook feed. Let's see. Okay. Jason saying, I'm enjoying watching the defense. The red zone defense looks pretty good. Yeah. And when I played high school football, I had some offers to go play Division II, Division 1A, Division III. Kind of undersized, but a pretty good player on a great team with great coaching. So I benefited from that. But we had a bend but don't break mentality. I mean, we could give up a couple of plays, but we almost never let anybody into the end zone against us. Almost never. We had one of those just dominant defenses. And I mean, the Cleveland Browns now with Myles Garrett and Jabril Peppers and some of the things that they're doing over there. Let's keep drafting correctly, add the right free agents. I would love to see a dominant defense. I mean, that's how you're going to win games in the AFC North in September, October, November, December, especially November, December, when it's really dark, when it's really cold, when it's really wet, rainy, snowy, all that stuff. It's going to be defense. So it's a really smash mouth league, especially in the AFC North. So the better the defense, the better chance you have. And then you manage the games. That's what people were saying is, yeah, let Brock Osweiler start the season. Let him manage some games, maybe after week 4, after the bye week, bring in. It's like, stop. Just stop. The kid can play. DeShone Kizer can play him. So, yeah, the red zone defense does look good, Jason. That's the point I was getting at there. Very happy to see that. And I liked the strip sack as well. I'm sorry, the strip fumble. To just go, sometimes there's a turnover. Someone makes a bad throw and it lands right in the hands of a defensive back. Sometimes, it's a bad handoff and it bounces on the ground, or there's a random hit and the ball pops out. There's a difference between that and going and taking the ball. So there's a giveaway and then there's a takeaway. So there could be a fumble, which is a turnover, an interception, which is a turnover, but then there's the takeaway. That's like Maurice Clarett back in the day for the Ohio State Buckeyes when he went against Miami in the national championship game. After the interception, he ran all the way across the other side of the field and ripped the ball out and got back possession. Probably a championship saving drive for Jim Tressel and Craig Krenzel and those guys. But that's effort, that's heart, and that's coaching. So that's a really good sign, something to look forward to as the season's beginning. What's up, Danielle? Thanks for watching. Any more comments, put them down here below. We're going to roll through these and probably wrap this show up. Let's see. Sunday. What are you saying? Jason, best sports group of all time. Hang on. Where are we at? Where are the comments? Okay. Enjoying watching the defense. Red zone looks pretty good. Yes, it does. Jesse. Oh, God. What wide receivers are you looking to break out and or bust this year? Jordan Payton from UCLA. He's had some moments. He put up amazing stats at UCLA. You see a lot of players like the Wes Welker, like the Julian Edelman. I don't know. You could go through and name a whole bunch of them. But if you're a baller, you're a baller. I don't care how big you are as a wide receiver. Find the open spots, run the perfect routes, get open, maintain possession. You could have a long career. I mean, Brian Brennan going back to the 80s. I mean, remember how valuable he was on third down? How many times that happened? So maybe Jordan Payton, and then I'm expecting the wild card. Now, I know I'm not seeing it, and there was a report that just came out from Roger Goodell in the NFL saying that Josh Gordon is not going to be reinstated. We need to say goodbye to Josh Gordon. Don't get our hopes up. He's not the right kind of guy. Hugh Jackson and the front office has written him off. But remember, Coach Hugh Jackson was saying, yeah, I'm only worried about the players that are on the team and this, that, and the other. So there's that factor to it. But then there's another factor to it. Sashi Brown and the Browns front office kind of came out on the other side and said, look, he's a talented player, and we could obviously use as much talent as we can handle. The thing about DeShone Kizer is that boy can throw the ball. He can sling it. He's not going to dink and dunk it. It's not going to be, 5-yard dropbacks and just little piddly nothings. This guy likes to put air underneath the football and release it. So I do expect a big year for Corey Coleman. His hand injury last year cost him a new system, new scheme coming from college. His work ethic wasn't there. His conditioning wasn't there. He's had a year to get his crap together. So if that's the case, I do expect to see great things out of Corey Coleman. I'm expecting it. We drafted him high enough. We waited. We traded back. We took who we thought. Wasn't he the number one wide receiver on the board last year? I think he was. And he didn't really perform all that well. He gave us a couple moments, but not enough to warrant that high of a pick. So let's see what can happen with a real quarterback under center. I'm already calling DeShone Kizer a real quarterback, like he's a franchise savior or a Tom Brady or something. Maybe he will be. All I know is he can make those throws. He can make those plays. So that's what I'm going to expect to see is more of that stuff. So I expect Corey Coleman to have a good year. I expect Jordan Payton to come through in the clutch. I'm hoping David Njoku is going to be a stud. We'll see. I haven't seen too much of it yet, but he's a big boy, big target. And man, DeShone Kizer missed him on a wide open touchdown pass. He was wide open, had a couple yards, and just threw it over his outstretched hand. Didn't quite. It was close, but they'll work that stuff out, I hope. But the long way of saying I expect Josh Gordon to be reinstated. his suspension for being over the THC limit by 0.001 or whatever it was on one of the samples, but not the other sample. Look, that was such a ridiculous technicality. It's garbage. The next one, he got suspended for having a beer after the season on a flight. What the hell are you suspending a guy for a beer for? So, that being said, if he's not currently testing positive and being stupid, which, let's be honest, he's given us all indications that he is stupid, that he doesn't care about his career, that he's willing to trade it in to get high. I understand that. I'm not going to ask him to babysit my kids or something, you know. I'm not going to put money down placing a bet, but honestly, you know, this guy isn't beating up his fiance in an elevator, in a casino elevator on film. You know, he's not out there stirring up this phony race war that the dinosaur media wants out of people. So they just keep hyping anything racial to get blacks fighting with whites, fighting with Latinos, fighting just all this garbage like Colin Kaepernick is bringing. Just replaying that phony narrative and dividing the city and dividing the fan base and annoying the people that just want to show up and enjoy sports as a distraction from politics. ESPN is hemorrhaging viewership because they're so sick of the left-wing bias that they're pushing every liberal issue. You got to celebrate Bruce Jenner turning into a woman by dressing up as a woman but not cutting off his thing. It gets to a point where it's ridiculous. So my point with Josh Gordon is he's not doing the Colin Kaepernick stuff. He's not doing the Ray Rice stuff. He likes to smoke. And let's face it, at some point, probably really soon, the NFL is going to have to allow that in the league. California, it's becoming legal recreationally on January 1st. It's in Oregon. It's in Colorado. It's all over the place. If your major sponsors are Budweiser, Miller Lite, Coors Light, and you got as many drunk driving situations and DUI crashes and vehicular homicides, and you got domestic abuse, and you got all of the health problems with cirrhosis of the liver and all these things, you're telling me you can't change with the times and allow a little bit of cannabis for the players who are getting their bodies beaten up like a piñata, that when they retire, some of them can hardly walk. The CTE, the chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the thing that Junior Seau, the amazing linebacker from the Chargers, when he shot himself, he didn't shoot himself. He shot himself so that he could preserve his brain because he felt like he was going crazy from all of the chronic traumatic brain injuries that he was suffering. So if the NFL is going to be making billions and billions and billions and billions and billions off of the sport that's this violent and people getting this injured, would you rather have somebody on Percocet, on Vicodin, on opioids? I mean, you don't need to look any further from Cleveland and the whole state of Ohio to see how bad the opium and opioid epidemic really is. Would you rather have somebody toke on a bowl, take a couple of puffs, or get hooked on pills, start using heroin, start using something to numb the pain? You know, and remember, that's what Kurt Cobain, he had stomach issues, and the only thing that solved that was some heroin. He tried this, he tried that, this specialist, that doctor, that doctor. It was heroin, and then he killed himself. Separate issue, I know, but point is, at some point very soon in the next collective bargaining agreement or something in between then, I see the NFL, they're going to have no choice but to allow cannabis. Point being, I don't see how they can look at Josh Gordon and say, yeah, you shouldn't be able to earn a living again this season. Did he screw up again in this offseason or did he not? I haven't seen it. If he did, I don't think so. So if he hasn't, I fully expect Josh Gordon to be on the field for the Browns this season. This season, I expect Josh Gordon to play. So who do I expect? Jesse T. Nash as a wide receiver I'm looking to break out or bust this year. I think Josh Gordon, along with Jordan Payton and with Corey Coleman and Njoku. Jury's out on Njoku. He's got the physical talent, but he's a really young kid. Let's see what happens. But the short answer is Josh Gordon and all of them. All four of those guys. We'll just leave it there. Adam Reese is asking, what's up, Adam? What are you going to get for him? I guess we're talking about Osweiler. I don't know, bag of peanuts. 7th round draft pick in 2019. I don't know, not much. I mean, not much. But something. I mean, they're analytics guys over there. They'll figure it out. They'll get some sort of value. If we can get the addition by subtraction, I'll take that. Just get rid of him off the payroll. Save that $16 million. so that we can use it on somebody else. I'm fine with that. Grab a couple low draft picks. That's fine. You like Jordan? Yeah, I like Jordan too. Not Michael Jordan. We need to tear down his statue. He's offended all Cleveland fans, that Michael Jordan character. Tear down his statue. Sorry, I can't help myself. I know you're here for sports, not the other stuff. Let it go with Gordon already. Never, Adam. Never. No, I can't let him go because I drafted him in my Dynasty Football League, and he's wasting a space on my bench. No, I didn't draft him. I traded for him this offseason on a rolling the dice. So we'll see how it goes. No, I'm not going to let it go with Gordon already. I hope he contributes to the Browns. So I'm on 1% over here, so I'm going to say goodbye. Make sure you're on Facebook. Search The Unhappy Hour Sports Show and sign up. Thank you guys for commenting. I'll post this afterward on YouTube, youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Please subscribe, even though they're demonetizing everything and I don't like the platform anymore, which is why we started vid.me/TheNewAmericanMedia. VidMe, vid.me/TheNewAmericanMedia. We're putting content up there, and soon we're going to monetize that channel and get content going over there as well. So please follow us there. Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. TheNewAmericanMedia.com, that we haven't really updated in a while because it's just clunky to maintain a website when all the social media can handle it. Anyway, I'm out. Peace. Go Browns. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm so excited for this season, if you can't tell. I'm going to take my first breath in about 31 minutes now. Go Browns. Peace. Finish. Goodbye.